It's 2 a.m., years after it happened, and out of nowhere your brain drags out that one moment. The wrong thing you said in a room full of people. The time you tripped and everyone saw. Something so small, so long over, that logically shouldn't matter anymore. And yet there it is again, as vivid as the day it happened, making your face burn in the dark, alone, with no one watching. Your brain didn't forget. Your brain won't let you forget. And the reason why goes back further than you'd ever guess. So let's start at the beginning. Not with embarrassment, but with something much older and much colder: threat detection. For most of human history, survival didn't depend on remembering pleasant things. It depended on remembering danger, precisely, permanently, and automatically. The part of your brain responsible for this is the amygdala, a small, almond-shaped structure that acts like an alarm system, scanning everything you experience for signs of threat. Here's what should surprise you. Neuroscience research shows the amygdala doesn't just respond to physical danger, predators, falls, injury. It responds just as strongly to social danger, rejection, humiliation, exclusion from the group. And for early humans, that response wasn't an overreaction. It was survival math. In small hunter-gatherer bands, social standing wasn't a matter of pride. It was a matter of life and death. Being cast out of the group, mocked into irrelevance, or losing the trust of others could mean losing access to food, protection, and reproduction itself. Anthropologists studying tight-knit ancestral communities point out that exclusion from the group in a harsh environment was often functionally equivalent to a death sentence. Which means, evolutionarily speaking, a brain that flinched hard at social humiliation, that remembered it vividly and avoided repeating it, had a genuine survival advantage over a brain that shrugged it off. Here's the terrifying part. That flinch never got the memo that the stakes changed. Your brain today still treats a red-faced mistake at a work meeting with roughly the same neurological urgency your ancestors' brains applied to being laughed out of the tribe. The setting changed completely. The wiring didn't. And this is where the story gets genuinely strange, because it's not just that your brain remembers embarrassing moments. It's that it seems to replay them, uninvited, at seemingly random times, with an intensity that fresh, neutral memories rarely match. Psychologists have a name for this: the recency and salience bias in memory retrieval. Emotionally intense memories, especially ones tagged with negative social emotion, get encoded more deeply than mundane ones. Studies on memory consolidation show that the amygdala essentially works with the hippocampus during memory formation, flagging emotionally charged events as high priority, worth strengthening, worth returning to. Your brain isn't malfunctioning when it replays your most embarrassing moment for the 10th time this year. It's doing exactly what it evolved to do, treating a socially dangerous memory as critical information you should never forget. But here's what's stranger still. This process even has a specific psychological phenomenon attached to it, one researchers call the spotlight effect. Studies have repeatedly shown that people dramatically overestimate how much others noticed and remember their mistakes. In controlled experiments, participants wearing an embarrassing t-shirt into a room estimated that nearly half the people present would remember it. In reality, only a small fraction actually did. Think about what that means. The moment that has haunted you for years, replaying in vivid, humiliating detail, may barely register as a flicker in anyone else's memory at all. You are the only person still living inside that moment. Everyone else moved on long ago, because to them, it was never that important to begin with. And this is where everything changes, because it reveals something almost cruel about how the human mind works. You are not being punished by other people's judgment. You are being punished by a brain that evolved in a world of maybe 50 to 150 people, where social mistakes really were tracked forever, where reputational damage really could follow you for a lifetime in a tiny, tightly bound community with nowhere to hide. That world doesn't exist anymore, but the alarm system built for it is still running at full strength, inside a brain now living among millions of strangers who forget you within minutes. Here's what should genuinely unsettle you. Researchers studying rumination, the tendency to replay negative events repeatedly, have found it activates some of the same neural circuitry involved in physical pain processing. Which means, in a very real, measurable sense, remembering an old embarrassment doesn't just feel bad metaphorically. Your brain processes it, at least in part, the way it processes an actual wound. You're not imagining the sting. Your nervous system is quietly generating a version of it, over and over, from a moment that ended years ago. But there's a reason this keeps happening at specific times, too. Sleep researchers have found that idle, unstructured moments, lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, the mind wandering with nothing urgent to focus on, are exactly when the brain's default mode network becomes most active. This is the same neural network responsible for self-reflection, memory retrieval, and mental replay. Without an external task demanding your attention, your brain doesn't go quiet. It goes searching through stored, emotionally tagged memories, and the ones flagged as most urgent, the most socially threatening, are exactly the ones most likely to resurface first. That's why it never happens in the middle of a busy day, but always seems to ambush you the second everything goes quiet. So here's the full picture. Your brain didn't keep that embarrassing memory to torture you. It kept it because, for nearly all of human history, forgetting a social misstep could mean repeating it, and repeating it could mean losing your place in the only group standing between you and death. The amygdala flagged it as critical, the hippocampus reinforced it, and in the quiet, idle moments when your mind has nothing else to hold on to, that old alarm still goes off, exactly the way it was built to, in a world that no longer needs it to. You're not weak for still feeling that old sting. You're carrying a warning system built for tribes of 100 people, now running inside a body surrounded by millions of strangers who barely noticed, and have long since forgotten. The moment is over. It ended years ago. But somewhere in your mind, a much older version of you is still standing in that room, convinced the eyes are still watching. They never were. If your brain is still replaying moments no one else remembers, imagine what else it's quietly holding on to without your permission. That's what Yedd is for. Like this video and subscribe.